got everything solved. For anybody just now joining us, we had some technical difficulties, had to restart the stream. Probably going to get this one started. Not going to sit here and wait for another intro. My gosh. Let me just finish wrapping up a few little things I got to do before stream here. Make sure our chat box is working. Looks like we're up and running. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay, the technical difficulties, and all that. Let's ring the cowbell and get this show on the road. Grab your dinglings, shake them back and forth until it sings. Clear the air. If you need a little more excitement in your life, a little smile on your face, you need to play with your dingling. Get your cowbells today. Links in the description below. Well, not yet, but maybe one day. We're bringing cowbell back, baby. Let's go.
For those of you out there that hitting that like button, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Take two. Oh, snap. Welcome everyone to Late Night Crypto with Road Dogg for the second time. I just froze up on the last stream, so we had to start it all over. Made this one quicker to get in. Let me give a shout out to everybody who's the troopers that are coming back to see me here. Dave P, you were first there, man. Congratulations, you beat everybody else. You said, losers, I'm here. Dave P. That's all I'm saying. We got Soul in the house. Hey, there's Brackus. Hey, man, Brackus is first, man. Hey, congratulations, dude, being first. I don't know how you do it, man. Again. Brackus is like a cowbell. I think so. Strega is last. Hey, Strega. There should always be a trophy for that one. I don't care what they say. There just always should be. We got Soul in the house. Hi, Soul. How's it going? How's your day going today? Love you, Brackus Adventures. You're awesome, man. First one in is a rotten egg, says Strega. Oh, you guys are funny. Hey, Striker, take two. Yeah, no, man. I don't know. Sometimes that stuff happens. As long as Mercury's not going in retrograde again. It's not, is it? Oh, my God. Please, no. For the love of God, not that right now. Don't let that happen. I turned my $20,000 paper trade account into $55,000 today. I feel like I know what I'm doing now. Hey, congratulations, my man.
All right.
It's a process where it really is a process when you start learning all this. Here's the thing about trading. See, when I first came into it, the reason I didn't want to get into TAs, I thought it looked complicated. It looked like you had to be some kind of math genius and all this stuff, and it just looked hard as F. It's really not. I mean, it kind of is. It's difficult, but I think it's us fighting with ourselves to learn it more than it is the difficulty of it. Because over time, you're like, well, that's not that hard of a concept to grasp. Why was it so? Why did it take so long for me to learn it? But anyway. But I came into this thinking, oh, the TA will solve all the problems. I'll learn how to chart, and then I can trade. Wow, man. So the first lesson that I learned, the first real lesson that I learned when it comes to the trading and stuff like that is that, well, it's not the TA. The first thing is, well, at the time, it seemed like the first thing that was coming around that it was all really psychology and mindset. And I will still say that too, but I will also put, well, actually, you know, I posted this up in the Telegram thing over in the student area, I think, today, and I put the trading skill hierarchy, and that's kind of what I'm talking about right now, and what I now see as being the top skills to really, what in retrospect, this is how I would focus on my education. I would focus on these things. Risk management, I think, is the very most important thing that you can concentrate on. It happens to be about the last thing that you start really focusing on by the way that we're trained out and, you know, our time in the market. I mean, we get a little of it and a little here and there, but it's not really later on that we finally figure out, man, that is really the big key right there for growing an account is risk management. I'm just saying, it is. If you can get more discipline and a little bit more consistency in those areas, and we can talk about that if you guys want to. You need to see some stuff in the chat for me to dive down that rabbit hole a little bit. But that's, I would say, if I have to go back and redo everything, I would focus more on education around risk management strategies, risk management techniques, ideas, whatever I can find on risk management from some, a good trading sources and that stuff. I don't mean somebody new coming out with a new idea. I mean, this stuff has already been gone over for dang near over 100 years, about 250, I think. There's lots of good stuff already out there. We just need to start implementing it. The second one now after that, I would say psychology, trader psychology yourself, because and it sounds crazy that I would say that, but that's the biggest thing. That's what's standing in the way. You got risk management, you got trader psychology. The psychology influences your risk management, so you kind of got to work on them both there. And then I would say the three. Now, I used to say this is like a three-legged stool. Now I've got a fourth leg on there. Then the third one I would say is your trade management and your execution of that. Now, what does all this mean? And I got TA, or your trade setups and your trade ideas. I got that as fourth place, the least important thing of all. Isn't that crazy? And I used to think, oh man, this is the thing I really need to learn. And it is. It's helpful. It is so helpful. It helps you to better, TA helps you to better manage the risk, the psychology, and the trade management. That's what the TA comes in, but it's not the end all be all. And the thing I'd like to say is that you can have the perfect setup, guaranteed 100% setup. It's going to play out. Maybe you don't know it at the time, but let's just say the setup. We looked in the future. We know it's going to play out. Exactly. We know it's going to. This one is. We came back from the future. The future self came back, but your present self wouldn't realize what your future self knows, and your present self will get into all the mind F's, right? All the self-talk, all the fear, all the emotions start coming up at different levels as these candles go up and down, and especially depending on what time frames and whatever things that you're hearing on Twitter or YouTube and things like that. They'll start messing with your head and messing with your trade idea. But so the psychology is very important, but still I have to give it number one up to risk management. If you start out there, if you are being diligent with your trade idea, with your stop losses, and doing the actual following the rules for being consistent with whatever that stop loss is, that helps a lot. So a lot of times, and even the gurus on here, they will have they just jump in. You don't know what they're doing. They'll have different stop losses. One trade might be $30 stop loss. Next one might be $500. Sometimes they let it play. Sometimes they don't. You never hear what you're saying. But I'm going to give you one little idea here. That if and I'm working with this right now. I'm just letting you know what I'm working with. Let's just say, so the general rule is about whatever you make up your mind up, what your risk, and I'm talking mostly, this can apply to spot, but mostly for margin trades. But it's usually about 1% is what they give you, and a lot of people are confused about that. It means if I got $1,000 account, I can only trade with $10. No, if you got a $1,000 account, you only risk $10 per trade. And the point that I'm trying to make, well, that's if you want to go with 1%. You can go 2%, 3%, 5%. Got a $1,000 account, you want to decide, is it going to be 10, 20, 30, $50? What's my stop loss for every trade that I get in? But the real trick that I'm seeing here is that you will see more results if you're consistent with that and not just kind of having a random number. If you're wondering why accounts just go, they're all over the place, it's because, well, our trading and our ideas and our plans are all over the place too. It's a reflection of that. But if you can get where, let's just say, if you're risking $10 on a $1,000 account, let's just say that. So whenever, it doesn't matter, man, what your leverage is on that. And I'm even playing around sometimes with some 100x trades, letting that, and just me putting $10 in, and I get a $1,000 trade out of that with 100x, and it's crazy. But I can let that be my stop loss. And that will work too. It sounds degen as hell, but it's actually, that will work too. And I've been playing around with that idea too. And a lot of times I can find a stop loss below this even $10 area that I would normally put anyway. But the thing I'm trying to drive home is not all this stuff, but it's just being consistent with whatever that stop loss is. If you're consistent with what you choose for that like that $10, if your losses are always just $10, well, then you can get in the profit quicker when you do get your wins. You understand? But if your loss is going to be $10 one time, it's going to be 35 the next. Oh man, this one was huge. We took a 210 because we stayed in the trade too long. That sucked. Got a $75 loss over here, and here's one. I only lost $3 over here. You see, now this is what I'm trying to point out. If you got all of this is not consistent. This is where this could be one of the things that are kind of hurting the account growth. But if you are consistent, then when you lose, which you will do, all right. That you will. I mean, if you're coming to this market thinking you're not going to lose a trade, well, you'll find that out really, really quick. That oh yeah, you're going to. So we should come into this knowing, and accepting that mindset. Oh, my voice is about to go. Accepting that mindset that we're going to lose. You got more. Your chances are to lose more than you win. But when you do get it right and you do win, that's why we're trying to go for the high probability setups, and that's the second part that comes to it. We not just any setup. It needs to be. I would prefer at least a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. That's kind of my baseline. Some people go for a 2-to-1. Yeah, okay, maybe in a pinch, but that's risky. That's too much risk. You're risking too much for too little gain, and a lot of times you might not get that full trade, right? Sometimes you might have to settle being stopped out in profits, and then you got the fees that tag onto this too, those little hidden fees. So there might be an extra little $1 or something hit in there. Now you're $11. You got to kind of count for that kind of stuff too. Keep an eye on that stuff. But if it's consistently right around here, if every loss that I've got, okay, it'll take me 10 losses to lose $100 this way. Whereas if I don't do it this way, I could probably lose $100 in a couple of trades pretty easy. Just saying, oh, well, let's keep adding to it. Oh, we'll add to this one. And that's one of the things that I've been finding interesting about this 100x thing, because that's new to me, because I was always warned against that, stay against it. And I played around with it, but the in certain situations, like when there's a high, like right now with Bitcoin. As high as it is, this is a horrible time to try to open a long. If I open a long, I know I want a tight stop loss. $10, 100x. Okay. It's a little degen, but it's controlled risk. I know all I'm going to lose is that $10. So that's a reason. That's one situation where I might do a 100x with something like that. But small amounts with high leverage, you can do that. It's all about controlling what you get stopped out at. That's what you got to keep in mind. And that's not explained as clear as it should be a lot of times. It's whatever you get stopped out of, that's what you're risking per trade. Some exchanges calculate your profit just based on what you get on your stop loss. And actually, that's what we're kind of trying to do. When you get those 4-to-1 risk reward ratios, that's telling you that you make 4 times whatever you would have got stopped out at. So we get a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio trade out here, and we do this like, that's not it. That's the wrong one. That's the short. If you're really new to this, the short and the long thing will be something you got to grasp your head around. I don't understand why they keep saying short and long. Why don't they just say buy and sell? I understand buy and sell. I don't understand this long and short thing. I remember that. I remember going through that. So let's just say how we got this in like a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio. Let's just say we got a setup. We measured our entry, and we got our stop loss and all this other stuff. Wherever I got my stop loss set, where it should be, wherever invalidates my trade. That's what it should be. At least that. Maybe you go a little risky, shut it shorter or whatever you want to do, but it should normally be, you want your stop loss set where the trade will be invalidated. If it comes and hit it, you're going to lose that trade anyway, right? So we'll take it on the 10. That's hard for us to do sometimes. But the $10 that I would be risking here, that's how I would structure it, lets me know how much of a position size that I can get, how much leverage that I can use. And, you know, it's kind of cool when you can put $10 in, but be trading with 1,000 and still only lose 10 if you hit your stop loss, but gain 4, in this case, 4.85. Let's make it 4 again for easy math. If we got a 4-to-1 risk-reward ratio, that means I'll get 4 times this $10 risk. I'll make $40 off this trade. Doesn't matter how big position I got. From here to there with our calculations and how we're doing this, whatever leverage, whatever position, as long as I'm seeing stopped out at $10, I mean, my position could be anywhere from, well, it's going to be $1,000. The leverage would change. But the $10 stop loss would always be the same. It would still $10 at this level. I'll just lose $10. Crank up the leverage, crank down leverage. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to make the same amount of money over there. I'm just saying. All right, so I feel like I don't know where all this come from, but we let it out tonight. Let me come over here. Let's see what we're talking about tonight before we start getting into the charts here. Bitcoin's at 105,600. We're kind of hanging around 105 if you haven't noticed. Striga says, it wasn't just you, Road Dogg. Lots of other YouTubers' lives got cut, didn't they? Nailed it. There is Kelly. How's it going, Kelly? We going up or we going down? I think we're doing both. I think it's going to be choppy, but I mean, there's a few good signs. I mean, we got some buy signals on like the daily and 12-hour. We got some good signs there. It's the ones below the 12-hour that are kind of looking a little bearish, so it kind of looks a little flip-floppy. I was hoping that maybe they would kind of just really kind of reel us in and try to get us around 108,000 this weekend, but it seems like we just can't really hit 107. We just get right under it. And now maybe they'll surprise us in the morning, take us up just a little bit. But I do expect us, you know, the original thesis that we were looking for is coming back up for a bearish retest idea before possibly rolling over. Because I think we are still in our correction. I think we will visit $100,000 again. May even still find ourselves throughout the summer going back down to the $94,000 area. The sell in May walk away thing, this is what it feels like every damn time. It's like, nah, we can hold on. We're probably all right. And then like 3 months later, you're like, oh man, I wish I had taken more profits in May. And if you are in altcoins, I'm going to stress that a lot right now because they're not ready. They're not right for picking just yet. But I mean, you can pick some, but you don't want to fill your whole basket up right now. I don't believe, and I'll explain that argument here shortly. I think we need to go over that. Altcoins are looking, they're not looking as healthy as we would like. I think they're trying, but they're having a very, very slow start here. If you play it right, it can be a good opportunity. If you go in too hard, expecting too much too soon, buying into what other YouTubers are saying, altcoin season's here, altcoin season's here, it's happening next week. Or next week. They've been saying that for the past 3 months, okay? You've been hearing altcoin season almost every freaking week. Let's go, it's here, fellas. We're loading up on altcoins, we're getting ready. And then, then what happened? Oh, and next week, oh, it's here again. And like, yeah, no, it's not. It's just not. Kelly says, I need to improve my risk management. We all probably need to improve our risk management. I know I do. I struggle with it. But, you know, the first thing is realizing it. The second thing is having a plan to do it and then implementing that plan just little by little until it becomes a habit. But I try to share there's all kinds of ways to do it. But it all revolves around what you get stopped out on, really. And it's easier now with the exchanges because sometimes they'll calculate it for you and you can figure it out. Hey there, Sport PC guy. Brackets Venture says, I recently learned about the orb open and range breakout strategy and it works pretty good actually. I've heard some reports about that. Was it the opening daily, the highs and the lows? Are we going with that? I think it's new labels for older ideas. But yeah, switch it out. You got to use all the tools in your toolbox that you can, that you're comfortable using and proficient using to get ahead in this market. My stop loss is save my ass. So risk management is what I wish I'd learned sooner, but it was hard to grasp at first. It is, and I keep trying to figure out, in retrospect, looking back over all this stuff, why is this stuff so hard? Intellectually, it's not hard. That's not where the problem is. We can know what we need to do. We can read about it and study it, and we know intellectually what we should and should not do. We read the rules. We go guidelines. We got rules of thumb to go by. We got all that. That's not the problem. The problem is how we internalize it. It comes to the psychology. Maybe I should bump psychology back up to the top. No, I'm keeping risk management there. And, of course, some of it could be the way that it's explained, because there for the longest, man, I would see that too. And then, I would hear these little comments from other people, like in trading groups. Oh, that's just for people. That's just for people with leverage. Don't worry about all that. That's just we do spot over here, so we don't have to, I'm like, well, okay. Yay. Well, you've always got to do risk management, even with spot. Kelly says, I started using NSTTC PVSRA candle indicator because it makes them gray and white. Okay. I'm not familiar with that, but you will, you'll be going through, and I remember I went through, you'll go through stages where you'll try out other indicators. I highly recommend that. Every indicator has, a strategy. You can back test it and see it. Back when I used to do my bots last cycle and all that, programming them, and is a lot of it. Most of it was based on indicators, and you're kind of fine tuning them, which ones go together, and how these strategies interwork with each other, and all these kind of things like that. It's good to learn those little things, and then you find something that resonates with you and that you're consistent with, and that's why I've got my indicators that I've got. I've found that Market Cipher is a pretty damn good indicator, especially the free version. The VMC over here on TradingView, and the MACD, that's an oldie but goodie. Mostly I like this one on the bigger time frames, like the weekly. That's why I keep the MACD for those bigger time frames. That's I want to be able to get my MACD just for a confirmation report. And then the RSI, I like the RSI and the stochastics are two of the biggest things I look at. So I keep the RSI separate because Market Cipher, even though it has it's too much stuff on my screen. The stochastics are on Market Cipher, so I tried to read them over here. I would rather have the original stochastics, but I don't have room for it, so I just use the one on Market Cipher. But, you're picking the indicators or whatever, and of course, moving averages. You guys see me use moving averages a lot. And maybe I got too many. Maybe there are. The moving averages are so helpful. And then the cloud's just there in the back. I don't even use the whole thing, but it's just there just to give me, it gives me insight where other things don't. So every once in a while, one of these indicators will whisper something in my ear. Hey man, be careful here. Watch out for this. And then, it's on me to pay attention to it and look at everything else and try to decipher what's going on. What you don't do with indicators is just blindly follow them. You never like this red dot here. I'll sell everything, short the market. That's not what we do here. We just take this into consideration, and then we just try to figure out what's going on with everything else going on. And it's a lot more successful that way. You got to kind of get your bots set up with other indicators for confirmation so that they won't be out there jumping off on every signal, or else you won't ever make any money with your bots that way. You got to kind of tune them in. Gosh, I need to get back into that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look here at All Snap page. Wow, you hit refresh, you get something different. Here's what I'm looking at for total 3. This is our altcoins. Look what's happened. We've been following this. We were coming back up to this gray line here, which would have been beautiful to get back in, and then things would start looking more bullish for us. But instead, no. We had to go with this little guy right here. Which is mostly, I believe, if I'm zooming out, I don't even think you got oh yeah, one touchdown here. You do kind of a channel idea. Right under here, under this bear flag idea is what we're all looking for. Could it be? I guess it could still be a bear flag technically. If she came up here, that would have invalidated it to me, but she still went kind of bear flaggy-ish, so I guess depending on who you talk to and their interpretation, you'll get different answers there. But anyway, the big thing is we got this trend line, which was support. Now it's not. Now it's resistance, and we're getting rejected off of it and that other horizontal support area, resistance area. We just got rejected again, is what I'm saying. So tomorrow, yeah, you're going to see altcoins, or through tonight, they're going to suffer a little bit. And the question is, how far are they going to come down? Because they already retested the area we needed them to. And so this is where I think we need to take a look at total 3. Let's do a little preemptive stuff here. And here we are on the 4-hour, getting our bear signals here. With the red dot, stochastics coming down. A lot of these indicators are coming down on the 4-hour. When we go to our weekly, we're kind of in the middle. We're hanging tight. It could be more bullish than what it is, but it's not too horrible yet. We're hanging up there, actually. I'm just going to end. The 3-day is starting to show some bullishness. We're seeing some momentum starting to come in on the bigger time frame, slowly trickle in. It's not enough to just make us rip right now, in my personal opinion. But we can start seeing even the daily, the MACD is starting to roll around here. So we're getting some trickling in. I'm looking at the moving averages over here. I can still see us getting a pop up, but it's going to be shaky. It really is for altcoins, and until we start making some. It looks like it's going to be another shaky summer for altcoins, but not as bearish as last summer, if that makes sense. Like, it's really going to have to be fighting for the gains that we get. I'm hoping that we don't continue to go down. I'm seeing that we can slowly kind of fight our way up so far, or at least for, maybe the first few weeks of this month anyway, from what I'm seeing here. But currently, as far as today and tomorrow goes, they're wanting to do a little bit of a pullback. And if you ask me, and I don't know, are you going to ask me? This area right down here is kind of where I got my own. That's where we got the most confluence. So we could get a little pullback, lose about $10 billion in altcoins. Not that bad of a deal, I don't think. That's the first area I'm looking for, is about $838 billion. We're currently at 848, so not that bad. If we want to go further, maybe down to 832, but here's where we got the most confidence that it could hold. I'm seeing some possible good signs. If it does hold there, it could go good for us. And we should be doing a correction. We shouldn't be doing we shouldn't be going for a lower low with the support and the thesis we got going on here. And need to keep in the back of our mind for a possibility, but we should be actually starting to try to do something a little bit now. And she's just taking her time, and the culprit is Bitcoin dominance, which has not yet tired out enough to give us what we need in the market. And Bitcoin dominance is getting here, still trying to look bullish. Now, there's a chance maybe she'll get rejected somewhere up through here. I don't know, man. I just know Ichimoku Cloud is looking like she just wants to rev up and just put the pedal to the metal and just spin out of here in some kind of chaotic rage. She keeps making higher highs. So this was bearish. We came down, but not very much, right? Now we're trying to flip bullish again. What the hell? Come on, baby. Drop for me. Let us altcoins do something. But the 4-hour on Bitcoin dominance looks pretty damn bitching. Like she want to do something. And if she do something good and fun and bullish, man, altcoins are going to feel it again. We're just slowly giving back all the gains. And that sucks if Bitcoin dominance keeps on bullish. So that's affecting our altcoins, and they were starting to look good on the daily, and now they're starting to give things back. We're going to take a look at this little guy. I'm not familiar what this one is. This one had a pretty good little data though today. So let me say this. Now, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, we've seen it go up the whole time. We've had these nice little a few little days, weeks. This was the daily. That was actually a pretty good cut. That's almost a couple of weeks there. That was the closest thing that we've had to any kind of alt season, and that was just a rally. And that was a nice rally too. That was back in November, December. Remember that? That's what we need to be seeing out of Bitcoin dominance. This is when altcoins go up. This is what's happening with Bitcoin dominance. Clearly, you can see that she ain't doing that right now at all. But all the time before those rallies, all last summer and everything else, it was slowly going up. And what you would see is some altcoins would do good. It's like a rotation. That's really what it is. Rotation the same money into different altcoins. A lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it. A rotation into other narratives and chasing and so the altcoins can do good, but they don't do as good as Bitcoin. You're just better in Bitcoin. Here's the proof of it. This is the TradingView $100,000 account that was now worth $1.8 million, and I'm still down on a trade, 1.6 million on this XCN. I fat fingered a big ass trade over here on some kind of leverage. I don't know. Anyway, but all the majority of all this was Bitcoin. Just accumulate. This is paper trading. Paper trading. Don't be trying to go sick Lazarus group on me or anything. I ain't got this. This is paper trading over on TradingView. You can set one of these up too. It's a great place to practice and even experiment. This is what this experiment taught me, is that damn, if I just stayed mostly focusing on Bitcoin instead of focusing on these altcoins over here, or using my Bitcoin to fund those altcoins, that did not work very well. I would have been a whole lot better, and this proves it. $100,000 account up to 1.8 million, even with a $1.6 million loss or drawdown on the table here. Freaking altcoins. Anyway, is that XCN? What are you doing? This is the daily. I wasn't planning on looking at you, but since we got you over here, XCN, I was kind of curious what we might have going on. That's my trade. Apparently, I bought the flag on the upside. Fat fingered that little sucker. Fat fingered it. It was good when it went up here. It went up a lot. Okay, so we had this little channel idea. It wasn't the greatest channel idea. I will give you that, but it's not holding. Blah 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 blah. What was this with that possible measure moves from breakout, which we never got to? Lackluster breakout. Not even the greatest breakout. So here on the day, they were coming down to the 200 moving average, it looks like, and that's at, what are you running at, moving average? That's at 0.0135. That's the area of the 618 Fibonacci. Let's get this stuff off. Identify what our trend line is, because I think we're actually testing the main one here. That would be coming from this bottom to over here. Let me put my line on so I can see what I'm doing, and then straight over. Have we hit it yet or not? Go to candle bodies, and we're not quite there. Just right under that 200 moving average. So in my personal opinion, I think we could be retesting that. Let me tighten this thing up a little bit. Now, it has been suggested to me to use the magnet tool, and I could be more accurate with certain things, but then sometimes I do these a little different. Sometimes I might go from wicks to bodies. It depends. My general rule is bodies to bodies. I think you can even set it that way, or maybe magnet tool, but it's not part of my habit. It's just not, and I get some kind of satisfaction by drawing my own lines, so that's called habits or whatever. So people will do things a little different than maybe the most efficient way or whatever. Everybody has their own little things, their own little quirks, and mine is I like to do my trend lines manually. I hope we don't come down or wick down to this 1.1 cent area here, but that's on the table. That can happen. That would be below this trend line and start getting the shaky area, and this is one reason. And see, then I would move it down to this wick area, and that does encounter it. I'm going to leave it there at that wick and put that on here, because we have lost our 618 area right here. And if we lose that, then we can kind of look at this with a little bit more of a bearish nod, or a bearish leaning. And if you were looking at patterns, I'm sure you were probably saying this is actually that works. I was about to say, a lot of people have probably been looking at something like this. Let me get this off of here. To the upside, right? Always to the upside, right? But when these things break, they're doing exactly what they do now. This is a descending triangle pattern where it's flat on one bottom, and they can be a continuation pattern. They're just not the greatest, and sometimes they do this and they turn into, you get a channel or a falling wedge idea. And that still points us on a slow burn down here. Maybe she will bounce off of, what is that, 1.351, that 200 daily moving average. We could and not ever come down here, and I'm cool with that. The momentum here on the daily is still good, so a bounce off the 200 would be nice and healthy and everything hunky-dory. So that, let me go ahead and mark that. So that's, we could be bouncing off of that one. It's headed up and to the right. Not bad, not bad. And if we do, we could just get right back to the top of the channel there. That'd be interesting. So, we should stay in this formation until we don't. Until it breaks one side or the other. And she's getting where she's almost like she's trying to make a partial decline here. So let's see what happens. She lost the 618. May not make it down to the 786. That's what this one is. Doesn't have to. May find some support there at the 200. Starting to look a little interesting. Here's one that's been popping off, and while I'm sitting here going over this and thinking about it, I am going to put my little request marker into the chat. Come over here real quick. Put that up there and submit your coin request for live analysis. Priority goes to members and super chats. And let me back up a little bit here on the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, Kelly Fan said one Road Dog membership and Can't Stand received it. Hey, congratulations, my man. That gives you access to our, it's a $3 a month membership area here on YouTube. People started giving out memberships, so I had to start putting some, value over there because I appreciate the support that I get from you guys.
For those of you that haven't hitting that like button, I'm supposed to thank you very much.
That was the wrong button. What button were you trying to go for? Actually, I was trying to go with the hand clappies for the, there we go, for the crypto membership. So congratulations, Kansas, for getting that. Chart School videos are over there. Chart School live streams that I do. I haven't done one because the Thursdays are not working out. So we're looking at maybe, I'm looking at maybe Mondays or Tuesdays, but it's probably not going to be, oh man, tomorrow sucks too. So I got to figure out when we're going to do the next Chart School thing, but I'm trying to keep some content going over there. The good alpha. Glittery Marshmallow, how's it going? Good to see you. Keith and Chief, glad to have you here. Practice Adventure says, yes sir, you nailed it. I don't know what it is, but okay. Nailed it. Practice says, we are going to lose. Best losers wins. Is what I've always heard. The best losers win. I saw a video title for that dealing with trading. I didn't watch it, but I thought it looked interesting. Kelly says, I need to focus more on high probability setups and fight the FOMO. That will help. It will help. We all should try to get a higher probability setup. I try to point them out if I find one or possibilities. And then sometimes they're just not worth it. And sometimes, the morning guru, they're scalping. So scalping's a little bit, you bend the rules a little bit. You take a little bit less, but you're also taking more fees. Or the fees are cutting into it more. Bracket says, over trading was a problem that I had. I think I can identify with that. And always feeling like you just need to be in a trade or be in something all the time or be in a position or something. I still struggle with that sometimes. AD says, powerful, sir. Strega says, short and long means betting. All my money on red. Bet I'll land on black. We having class tonight. Well, I need to do something because I haven't actually done the actual chart school I think I missed it for 2 weeks now, so I gotta get back on touch. At least start putting some stuff over there. Thank you, Soul. Cleary Marshmallow says, laugh my ass off. They have been, and I've been sitting back going, where? Glitter Marshmallow says, altcoin breakout. Are they doing something? Chief says it's breaking. Is it breaking the rules to check out Circle? Oh, you mean the stock? No, I'll check out any chart. I don't care what it is. I'm cool with it. Is it called Circle? I haven't actually looked at the chart. I wasn't keeping up with it, so I didn't hear about it until after it was already launched. 505 Cult, what's up? Turkey head. 80 says, I'm not a professional, but I think I like the closes on candles as well because it represents a line chart, very similar to RSI. Well, the RSI is calculated based on those candle closes, and so using the trend lines there will help you spot the divergences better. You see a lot of people, try to pull them from the wicks to wicks and that, but that's not how the RSI is calculated. It's calculated on candle closes. So yeah, using the candle bodies, I think is very important when you're using those strategies. Kelly says, Ada and Tau. Don't want to risk my crypto bro card. CRCL. All right, well, let's go, because I've already done my spiel on this. We know that we know the altcoins are having a little bit of a bad time, but we're trying to look for them. Let's see if we can mark it out over here real quick. What is that? I don't care. Get off here. I'm busy. Well, I hope you don't do that deep. Let's. Oh, and I hope you don't do anything crazy like this. I don't want to see these areas yet. We're going to check out this 0.5 area first. So that's about 830. I can't draw a line there. So I'll mark that little guy, and then we'll get on to some other stuff. So we just need to know that there's a good chance that we might be suffering a little bit with some altcoins, especially while Bitcoin dominance is not turning bearish on us. All right, let's take a look at CRCL, Circle Internet Group. The guy I see this stuff on Pith. Now, are they offering stocks over on Pith? Apparently they are. Let's go with the N. Oh, snap. Oh, there we are. So I think I heard this started out like at $31 or something. I think Robinhood had it. So this chart doesn't have anything, but starts at 64. Can we get more somewhere else? No, just got it right there. No way. Okay. Well, this is all we got. And this is the 1 hour chart. So fresh off the presses. Stable coins. So where are they going to come back to? My first look on this one, it seems awful gosh darn bullish. Now usually IPOs come out and they start out high, just like crypto. They come out, they go up, and then they start coming down, and it's always best to wait on the new things to settle in. She's at her okay, you lost. I was going to look for the 236 first, and we've already lost that. So right around $101 is the area I would look for first, if this is going to be bullish and start doing some bigger stuff. That's the first bounce I would look for. Otherwise, and that does seem like it lines up with the trend line. So give it a little wiggle room here. So I'm drawing it from bodies to bodies, and when I do that, most of the time, when I take it to the wicks, it lines up really good with other stuff too. I'm going to drag it and bend it down here, so we got to touch from that wick to, it's not actually touching that wick. I want to make it touch that wick. Maybe I was off on my angle a little bit or something. I don't know. Anyway, that gives us a chance maybe at 100. So I'm kind of looking at, that idea, maybe wicking down and touching that. And then if we do bounce from there, that's putting 160 Let's put 160 over here as a target. And that's basically about 60% gain, so can't bitch about that. Now what she could be doing, of course, we're 1 hump, 2 hump, 3 humps, then dump or correction. So we got to see. There's some other targets we can go with too after we see where we catch here. So Circle's looking kind of interesting. This is what, 24 minute, 15 minute or whatever. It's not open right now, but she's at 108. I think 101, in that $100 area. Be a good place to see what she's trying to do. All right, let's take a look at Cardano. 66-cent Cardano. Well, so far we're respecting trend lines. 100 moving average here on the 1 hour. Trying to catch some support. The ribbon is looking, and Bitcoin is doing this too. And that's a rollover on these moving averages. Now maybe the support, and they can kind of try to flip it. It looks like, you know, well, they can get some flips. How often? It takes some work to flip these things back in the right direction, right? And we so I don't. It's kind of scary. I'm trying to wonder: is this going to hold, man? Are you going to hold? I hope it does. Let's get some of this old stuff off here. So we know we're going to have resistance up here around 77, 78 cents, just from the trend line that we lost. To me, I see 5 waves and an A, B, C correction. So this could be it, and we could start coming back up. 90 cents is the big area we got to get past. That's a 236 fib area there. That's one of our main bigger targets. And that's the one of the things we're known for. Get right up in that area is 35% gains there. So we're kind of looking at this idea, however we want to draw our trend lines. There's going to be several variations, but wherever it is, it's going to be some resistance, and kind of points over here to the 800 and 600 moving average, which bearishly crossed here at 73 cents. So short term, maybe if we do get a bounce, it might be to retest that, and then we kind of